What's up, LinkedIn community? This is Adam Conrad, another episode of GR Live. I'm the founder and CXO of Great Recruiters. I'm joined here today with an awesome guest, Michelle Sims, CEO of UPro Placement. Michelle, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I'm excited.
I am too.
New for me, so.
That's great. And I just saw you in Miami. It was a great conference. SIA was just an exciting time. Lots of energy, lots of great conferences. What was one of your big takeaways from SIA?
Oh gosh, several. But I would say that the face of staffing as we know it is changing a bit, right? I think you used the term it's not our parent staffing company anymore.
Yeah.
So really just evolving and all of us evolving in how we serve our talent community, provide clients with talent overall, skilled talent. Obviously, we're going to talk a bit about the skills gap and this, myth of a talent shortage. But us in the staffing world, I don't know that there's actually a talent shortage. So we'll talk about that.
Well, exciting. Well, hey, for those who don't know Michelle, as I mentioned, is the CEO of UPro Placements. They are a skills-first placement firm from sourcing, recruiting, retaining, and advancing traditionally overlooked talent. And they're a champion for skills-first hiring. Michelle leads a team of diverse, broad-minded individuals who empower career-ready talent without degrees and support employers who build workplaces where these candidates can thrive. And I'll brag for Michelle for her. She's been recognized on both the SIA Global Power Woman 150 list and the SIA DEI influencer list, and is most recently joined by Forbes Business Council as a contributing subject matter expert. So we have someone here that is in the know, is an expert in her field, and just excited to really dig in and talk really about how you're shattering the talent shortage myth. But before we get into that, I always like to ask, because people typically don't grow up as a little child and think to themselves, I want to be a recruiter. So what is your origin story? How did you get into this awesome industry?
Wow. So origin story, graduated and went into sales, had no clue what I wanted to do, which I think is pretty normal for a lot of folks coming out of school or any type of program. And just landed in sales and continued to network, and the opportunity to join what used to be Spherion many years ago. As a district manager. I'd been in recruiting, I'd been in sales, I'd been in operations. And as you know, with staffing, all of those come together and we do it all. So I jumped in and had really no idea what I was getting into. And having been an HR corporate, I switched teams and came over to the staffing side and never looked back. So
okay. So how'd you get into the staffing side? Who sucked you into this side of it?
Yeah. So an old colleague actually from another corporation that was in custodial sales, like not even related. And so I think everybody just kind of ends up here with an interesting story. And I'd been a performer in another organization, and she called me and said, I need a performer. I know I had no idea what I was doing 8 months ago, and I need somebody to come over that I trust, that I know that is a hard worker, and I can teach you this, and let's do it. And it was a great time in my life to make a change, both industry-wise and for a career. And I, again, never looked back.
No, you either you fall into it and you fall out fast, or you fall in love with it, right? And we obviously have fallen in love with it.
I do, yeah.
So, for sure. Tell us a little bit about UPro. It sounds like you're doing some things different than we're going to unpack through this discussion, but can you just kind of give an overview of UPro Placement?
I can actually, a bit of an origin story there as well, if you'll bear with me.
Yeah.
Because it's a great story, and why I'm so proud to lead the organization. 20 years ago, our founder, Gerald Chartavian, started a nonprofit organization called Year Up. And Year Up is a 12-month training and internship program that creates paths for talent that do not have degrees. And we place them in Fortune 500 companies nationwide. 10 years in, there was this amazing alumni community. And Gerald thought, we need to make sure that this talent has career support services and job placement for their lifetime. And so here we are, that many years later. But the organization started as Year Up Professional Resources. And so going to market, the resources meant that we would provide alumni with these services. But at the end of the day, the goal is equitable job placement. And so we went through a rebranding in January. And we
Yeah, congratulations on that. I know that's not an easy task to overcome, so congratulations.
Yeah, no, but it's been actually amazing. And you kind of look back sometimes when you make decisions and go, why didn't we do this sooner? Because just having the word placement versus resources, like corporations go, oh, we get it. Right. And so we've spent a lot of time the past couple of years explaining what we do for the first 10 minutes of a conversation, where all of a sudden you change your name and your brand and you get clear. And yeah, you're off to the races. And so it's been an interesting year in really shifting to the mindset of skills first with the talent shortage and the quiet quitting and all of the things that we're hearing, the noise that we're hearing. We're really trying to hone in on ensuring that our talent community are recognized by employers. We focus on early career and mid-career, where we're supporting skills building in a wage-based assignment so that our talent are earning living wages. And many of them, and most people also don't know the stat that 66% of the American workers do not have degrees. And
Right.
so when we're focused on ensuring that, we have the best talent or the best candidate, traditionally in recruiting, and I can speak very, very personally of this because I ran an HR department, the first thing was, do they have a degree?
Right.
And if that's only 34% of the workforce, we really are not looking at who the best talent is out there and who may have the skills to add to an organization.
Yeah.
And so we are grounded in supporting early career and mid-career talent that don't have degrees, but we're also not discounting the fact that there are a lot of fields that you do need a degree, but
Sure.
there's so many that don't. So that's what
Good.
we focus on.
It's funny, we worked for a client in the automotive industry here based in Detroit, and we had folks on assignment that were contractors for 15, 20 years, and they were leading teams. And the only reason they were a contractor is because there was a company policy that in order to be a direct employee, you had to have a degree. And here are people that are outperforming, that are leading teams that simply because that piece of paper didn't exist, they didn't ever get that opportunity um, for a direct job there. So,
The
talk,
story across the board that we hear a lot.
right, right. So what? Talk a little bit about what skills-based hiring is, and why are we seeing this term everywhere now?
Yeah. Well, so the Great Resignation, the Great Recession, all of these terms, right? It's really started in 2008, where we actually put in degree requirements because employers wanted the best talent out there. And there's all kinds of studies on the why. And here we are, fast forward, and we started the opportunity with Opportunity at Work. There's a nonprofit organization called Opportunity at Work. And they have a coalition called Tear the Paper Ceiling. So this really started a movement with ensuring that employers and all of us are aware that, again, 66% of Americans don't have degrees, but at the end of the day, building equitable job opportunities in our workforce is everybody's responsibility. And so by bringing awareness with Tear the Paper Ceiling, basically, let's not use the resume as the crux of getting people jobs, but let's really look at skills. Let's look at experiences, life experiences, and non-traditional pathways. So Year Up is a non-traditional pathway to earn skills. And so we've expanded that to support over 20 nonprofit and growing talent providers, bringing their talent in as an extension of their program. And they have great programs all across the country that employers, they're not aware of, who don't know how to tap into nonprofit talent provider talent, or they still have these traditional pathways that they're trying to break down. So we come in and we are the connector and the staffing organization that connects this great population of training provider talent places them in a role with skills as part of that role and skills building on the job so that we can show corporations like in IT, marketing, right? Customer service, help desk, different positions that if they're willing to build and to spend some time on building their workforce, we will help them do that. And so that skills first mindset that we're helping with is really from a foundational perspective in early career talent. And we ask employers to do it with baby steps. Like we get it if you can't change everything. Let's start with one job, right? And let it grow.
So, I know I was in IT and engineering staffing. So most of the times, they're coming to us because they have a very specialized need that their recruitment teams are struggling to find. And so they're reaching out to a specialist. And in your case, you're bringing general type skills and background and experience in a little bit different way.
Mhm.
What is the ideal client that you mentioned nonprofits? Is that kind of where you're targeting from a client base to start?
No, that's where our talent community stems from,
Gotcha. Okay.
right? So we're a bit unique. So we don't post our jobs out in the world, right? We don't connect to Indeed to post our job. We don't connect to Monster. We have our own job board. And then we promote the jobs that we have for openings to our nonprofit partners. And so all of our nonprofits are really where our talent community come from. And we've coined the term national opportunity workforce and built our talent community, our own talent community in a very unique way through our nonprofit providers. And our database now has over 100,000 skilled talent to put to work.
That's great.
So employers, you ask for, the ideal employer.
Yeah, the ideal employer, because it's a tough, right? Why aren't they just going out and finding this talent? Like, what's that conversation look like, and how do you break in and say, pay us to help you do this, and what's the benefit?
Right. Well, I will tell you, every time we do get in front of an employer, they say you're like the best kept secret. And so we hired a strong sales team so that we're no longer the best kept secret. So that's one thing we did.
They said that about great recruiters for a while. We were the best kept secret. I was like, that's not a good thing.
I will tell you, I would agree. Now that we use your product, it's very short time in. We love it. It's amazing. So plug, it's great. But I will say it, and then employers go, okay, but how am I going to get hiring managers and my team to support this role that has had a degree requirement for so long? And that's where it comes in, where we start small with the mindset. We also sometimes bring in our sister organization, Grads of Life. They support consulting and process improvement and overall skills based hiring practices with organizations. So sometimes we've done that, but overall, it's getting a champion. Any organization that is looking to build early career talent from within because they can't find talent in their traditional methods, right? And we have wonderful employers. I mean, we work with some of the largest Fortune 500 organizations, but I will say we work with them this much where we really should be working with them this much because
Right.
they need to expand removing those degree requirements. And so we've grown very steadily. We've certainly grown the past couple of years, and where we're getting that message and adoption, it's coming, but it's coming slower than, of course, any business would like. But it also is about the talent and making sure that the roles that we are accepting from employers, they must pay a living wage or we won't take the role. So we stay very true to our mission in building our talent into higher paid roles and not perpetuate underemployment
Yeah.
because they don't have a degree.
Well, it sounds like as much as you're not even really going in and selling. I mean, you're consulting these organizations and helping them go through change management of how to adopt these systems because they don't have it in place. So as you're going in, what practices should organizations be using, be adopting to help align with this type of hiring strategy?
Yeah. I mean, I think first and foremost, having a champion. When we haven't had a champion and it's just been a sales pitch, it typically doesn't go anywhere.
And
And so
who is that champion typically inside the organization? Do you find common roles or people that kind of attach to this?
It varies, and it certainly varies on the size of the organization. And sometimes it's the officer for DEI, social responsibility individuals in the organization. So we also try to go in a non-traditional staffing manner and appeal to folks in the organization that are trying to change some of the mindset or build in non-traditional recruiting pathways. And so it can be a head of talent acquisition, a head of HR. A lot of times we will also go to the CEO, right, that wants to champion skills-based hiring. And so I think the first and foremost is looking at the roles that have traditionally held degrees, but also looking at the roles that don't have degrees and what is the time to fill, what is the turnover, right? What is the retention? There's a McKinsey stat out there that folks that are hired for skills stay in their jobs 34% longer than folks hired for degrees, right? So, we work off of some of that data and help employers to pick roles that they will gain championship and that we can help them with a learning path. So hiring with us and placing folks on assignment, it also comes with a skills learning path that we support for a 26-week period. So again, being unique, there is a process to and a commitment to hiring through us and with us. But the great thing is we're still a staffing agency. It doesn't cost you more to do that, right? Right. Probably going to improve your retention and your job engagement. You have an account manager that supports talent. We have amazing wraparound services. We support professional development, and they get a learning path while on the job, because what's so great about being a public benefit corporation and being owned by a nonprofit is we have access to IBM Skills Build. We're a global partner with IBM Skills Build. We're now a partner with Cisco Academy, and we're a partner with Grow with Google. So our talent have access and gain these certifications for free.
Well, and that's, we place people. We're looking for an engineer. They're an engineer, and that's there. They have their skills and they're going to grow. And what you're doing is not only putting somebody in a position, but you're helping them. You're a resource to help them upskill to kind of take that next job. And I can see where that completely translates into increasing retention and brand loyalty, right? I mean, brand loyalty to you pro placement. You're not just investing in them getting a job, you're investing in their career, their livelihood, and their growth as a human being, which is amazing. And one of the things, I mean, you'd mentioned you got this much groundwork in those clients, and you have a number of clients, and you should be here, and that's just your client base. So what are you guys doing to help raise this awareness? Because I know you're doing some things on a national basis to help create more awareness around this. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to give ourselves a plug. In February, after our rebrand to UPro Placement, we put out a national campaign, and our national campaign is called #Skills First Jobs Now. So anybody interested can go to our Skills First Jobs Now page and see our value proposition. But what we're appealing to is employers looking to make a pledge to skills first hiring and skills-based hiring practices. And we've created pledge levels. And so all of our clients that were with us in 2022 and are still with us today, we have presented them, and we're actually in the middle of that this week, presenting them with their pledge level that they had over the past 12 months. And I'm challenging them as the CEO to say, we would love for you to up the ante, and we'd like you to move up a pledge level, right?
Yep.
So over the next 12 months, you were here. Let's get you here.
And moving up a pledge level means you're hiring more people from a skills-based approach.
Correct.
Okay.
And looking at the positions now that we can expand to, and looking at how we also continue to build their organization to be a skills first organization. We will support them in social branding of that. But the most important piece of all of this is creating more equitable job opportunities for our national opportunity workforce. And it's, again, slow going in terms of, of course, we have a campaign in a softer economy, but we
Right.
have not seen a complete shortage or a stopping of hiring in general of early career talent. But it's getting the employer to adopt also the learning path and the whole commitment that comes with it. And we're excited. We're really
Good.
excited because we already have some employers that have said, absolutely, I love what you do. We love the talent that we have gotten from UPro placement. Your support is amazing. And we have a 94% retention and conversion rate to full time. How do you argue with that?
How do you, I don't know. And I'm sure there's companies right now thinking to themselves, man, this might be for us. And so can you share what your skills first hiring workforce solutions are for the employers and I know you touched on this and what that value prop is for them and why employers would want to work with you on this?
Absolutely. So, our workforce solutions team will work with an organization to build out early career learning paths. We've built a 26-week assignment, and it's an all inclusive fee, basically, that we're calling a wage based apprenticeship. It is an informal apprenticeship, it is living wage based. It comes with a learning path, it comes with professional development, it comes with wraparound support services for our talent. And we've built this for specific IT roles, marketing roles, customer service, some HR roles. And so we really would love to talk to employers about early career, mid career talent in these particular fields that we've built out specific learning paths for, so that we're helping both hire non-traditional pathways talent, uh,
Right.
and paying a living wage and building their skills and reducing that skills gap, so that they're also building upon their workforce, because we're also not able to fill all the jobs. I mean, employers are not able to fill all of their jobs right
Right.
now
Right.
with the talent shortage in the manner that they've recruited before,
Right. Right.
right? So we are another option and another way to support their hiring strategy. And we also know and can support early career talent now in a softer economy, because if employers slow down hiring their talent come 12 and 18 months from now, they're really going to be behind.
Right.
So
Right.
that's what we're banking on.
As many are. I mean, your model is really unique, and so you talked about the talent community. So obviously, you have amassed a great community of potential candidates. We can't place everybody at that moment, and that's just the nature of the business. So, talk about your talent community. Who is your talent community, and what are the things that you're doing to keep those people engaged, as maybe the opportunity doesn't exist today, but it might, in the near future? Are there things that you're doing different to help engage that talent community?
Um, Maybe not different, but consistent.
Gotcha. Well,
What we're
that would be different for many.
Well, maybe. I mean, I think that organizations have a session on how to write a resume, and like, let's help you network and build your personal brand. Like, all of that is important, but from a consistency standpoint, what we've committed to our partners. So when a nonprofit organization chooses and we decide to partner with them, it's typically a talent provider that is supporting talent in an IT certification of some sort, some type of training program. And they are also lacking sometimes the connection to the employer to place them in a job. And again, that's where we help. So we support over 20 nonprofit organizations. Their talent come into our database and into our organization, and they receive free support. We do regular office hours on a weekly basis. We do monthly boot camps. We do regular webinars for career development and have professionals come speak, and industry experts in different areas come speak to our talent in webinars. And then we offer all of the certifications I mentioned, even when we don't put our talent in a job. We've created a program team that is amazing, that will work with talent that are unemployed and match them to a certification so that they can do asynchronous learning with our support while they're seeking a job, right? And we're helping them find a job, but we have wraparound supports and resources, including we partner with like Empower Work, who's amazing. If you don't know that organization, I need to introduce you to them. They're fantastic. We have a partnership with Find Help. So our entire talent community can also seek out social services at no cost through us. So, really trying to meet talent where they are and build their skills while we're also helping them find a job.
It's awesome. And your community it's the National Opportunity Workforce.
Mhm.
Explains what that means.
I mean, I think we were looking for a term that created positivity, and we are building opportunity in the workforce on a national scope. I mean, that's what we're doing.
That's
And
it.
and so we wanted a term that created pride in the talent community, and a term that employers would resonate with and they would get excited about working with us because the talent community is over 100,000 strong.
Yeah. Are there certain market conditions you think that are today that might not have existed in the past that are helping to prime this for being successful?
I think the awareness and openness of everything that the country and the world has been through from a diversity and equity and inclusion perspective. Um, we know that this practice builds inclusion. We also know from the 66% of the Americans that don't have a degree, 76% of that are Black Americans and 83% are Latinx. So we know by reducing the barriers to entry, by removing the 4-year degree, creates inclusion. And the result of that is diversity in your organization, and the openness and awareness of that need and desire for diversity is is a business imperative. It's not just a nice to have anymore.
Right.
So we know we are grounded in supporting organizations, building a more inclusive hiring practice for them, and that will create other great things for business
Right.
and for the community.
What I love is you are so firm in your direction, your focus, your vision, your mission. It's like it is non-wavering. You see the path, you see the success, and it's just a matter of continuing to build those blocks to grow this and increase awareness. So if anything we can do at Great Recruiters to help continue to increase this awareness, we want to, because I mean that's what it's all about, is helping to connect, great talent with great opportunities. Um, as we look at the future, I always like to think about, like, where do you see, switching gears a little bit, where do you see the staffing firms evolving here? We are to me, we're in the midst of the storm. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in the recruitment industry, but if we were to have a crystal ball and look forward 5 years from now, what do you think are some of the biggest changes that we'll see in our staffing industry?
Who I'm
Loaded question.
It is, and I think I speak from the lens I'm living on, but I
Certainly.
certainly think it's appropriate. I believe the staffing industry in general, holistically, our responsibility is to bring awareness to employers. I mean, let's face it, in staffing in general, we are supporting a lot of skills placement, right? I have worked in light industrial. I have worked in customer service. I've worked in hotels and hospitality, right? Now, what I can say is I was not even attuned so many years ago that the crux of some equity issues are that those jobs do not pay living wages,
Right.
right? I was leading organizations that placed talent that met an employer demand, and the employers, they tell you what they need and they tell you how much they're going to pay.
And that's it.
And
And
that
you need to fit it in, right?
and I am incredibly privileged and humbled that I get to say now to employers, that's not a living wage, and we will not be the organization for you to support that role. There are plenty of staffing organizations that will. So my challenge and my hope 5 years from now is that all staffing organizations have the strength and the financial stability to say, I'm sorry, employer, that's not a living wage. And we want to do what's best by our talent and what's
Right.
best by this country and what's best by this community. And a fair, equitable, and living wage is this. And that just becomes the norm.
Right.
Because I just don't know how we support talent today and tomorrow without having that stance at some point as an industry.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that, lofty as it is, but
It's the lofty goals that help move and transform us. It's the doing the same thing every day and expecting different results. And you guys are certainly not an organization focused on doing the same things. I mean, I think what you're doing, I'm going to be surprised if this isn't something that we see more and more organizations like yours focused on this, because as you said, that there's a nationwide need for this, which is exciting.
well,
And
let me grow this first before, so that we're not the best.
well, you're ahead of the curve. You're leading the charge. You're paving the way. You're creating the blueprint. And even people that have the best blueprint need great people in the organization that support it. I mean, right? Let's face it. Is you can give somebody the best plan, but if you don't have the type of culture that you've built and the people that you built that kind of believe in your vision and believe in the organization culture, they're not going to execute at the level that you're executing at. So kudos to you.
And this is why I don't know who's listening, but our team needs all of the credit. I may be the one here, living and loving this mission, but I will tell you the hard work and some of the gut-wrenching stories and the support that our team gives our talent is unwavering. They're amazing. So plug for my team.
Well, definitely, and help us understand from a tech stack perspective. Like, what are some of the things that you're using that are helping to kind of push this initiative forward and drive this, making it more efficient for you as an organization? Whether it's connecting the communities, making sure you're doing what you say you're doing, and just helping you kind of drive this vision forward.
Well, now I'll probably have every salesperson contact me because we're in a complete tech stack review of everything. I can tell you that certainly we use Great Recruiters, though we are new adopters, early adopters to Great Recruiters. What that has done for the team's confidence in what they do every day for our mission has been huge, because we shower them with, like, this is amazing. We're doing great things for our talent. Like, we got somebody a job that, has been underemployed for 2 years. And like, we have really great case study and stories. But when your team can see it immediately, and then when the talent posted on LinkedIn, and our team sees that somebody got this great shout out from talent because of your product, I mean, it's been a game changer in just the camaraderie, yes, but just in the overall lightness and excitement of doing their job again, right? Because, like, let's face it, we've all been in our homes, like, we're all a little burnt out. Like, we do a ton for wellness, but people are still tired. And so this is like revived, like, oh, I do love what I do. And I'm reminded because this person just told me publicly, like, I just did a great job. I'm like, well, of course you did a great job, but it's different when somebody else is telling them, right?
Right.
So
a lot of times,
stack that, I said, regardless of our tech stack, we will not, I'm committed to you.
That's not my question. I asked in general, but thank you. But I think what you're talking about is something that we're hearing from others, and I think it's just an unintentional kind of benefit of what we provided. Is it's creating better cultures around for companies that do believe in their people. I'm a baseball coach, and it's like these kids get up to bat and they strike out 7 times and maybe get 3 hits. And when do the excitement? When do they cheer? They
Right.
cheer when you get a hit, and that's like making a placement. It's like, but how do they feel those other 7 times? But with what I continue to hear is when you get that feedback, even if it's not somebody you have successfully placed, but made a difference. Like I said, you can only place maybe 5% of the people you talk to, but you have 100% of an opportunity to create value for everyone you interact with. And it's those reviews and that feedback that comes in when you don't get the hit that just lifts it up. And I'm hearing it more and more, and it's creating better dialogue with management and leadership and being connected. And it's proving what you're committed to from a cultural standpoint and from a vision standpoint. So I love that you're experiencing that, because that is just one of the benefits of it with many more things.
It absolutely is. So tech wise, I'm gonna not answer that completely, because I'm telling you now, I'm gonna get sales calls like crazy.
All right. Well, if you need any help vetting anything, you let us know. So Michelle, we hit our time. I'm looking at this. It's already been 36 minutes. I can't believe it. This has just been such an easy flow conversation. Give me 3 biggest takeaways. If I am a firm that wants to start this practice, if I'm a company that's looking to engage with you to start this practice, what are the main 3 things that I should be thinking about today to help me prepare for this skills-based hiring?
Who's the champion? Does that champion have enough clout, chutzpah, and decision making in the organization to make it happen? Am I hiring early career, mid-career talent? And can I get the organization behind those positions, not requiring degrees? And if so, we should be your next call, because we have amazing talent that have gone through non-traditional pathways to get where they are, and they will absolutely perform in a role for you to build your organization and drive business results, because we've seen it and it's real.
Yeah. And I'll add the 4th is that they're going to continuously be supported during that time to help continuing upsell or upskill themselves to provide even more value to themselves and those organizations. So, well, Michelle, this has been an amazing conversation. I love what you're doing. I love that you're paving a new path in an industry that's kind of done it the same way for a very long time. So kudos to you, your team, your leadership. I wish you guys all the best, and just really appreciate you taking time to talk to us today on GR Live.
Thank you. All right.
Everybody, you have a great day. And this is available for anybody to view later on. And if you want to contact and you're interested in the services that Michelle's organization provides, what's the best way to reach you?
Easiest way is to email partnerwithus@upro.com.
Partnerwithus@upro.com. And with that, everybody have a great rest of your week. Take care.